Good morning, world. This is Alan Amara. Oh, guys. My God. Sorry, I have to charge it. So I have to put the camera this way. My camera battery's done. Ivan, show us more Volume 3. No, guys. I only showed you the sneak preview at the beginning, and that's it. That's all you guys are going to know. I don't want to spoil story for you. Sorry. Fine line me when you read it. Did you go over there in Negan Zanis? Yeah, I did. I went over there in Negan Zanis yesterday, man. And it's pretty close, man. Like, I'm hooked reading both books. But Zanis is the more raw book compared to that. Their Unique feels more polished than Zanis when I read it. Their Unique feels a bit more raw, especially when I read Volume 3. Obviously, but I told you for Zanis, the big scenes blow my mind away more because it feels more cinematic than their Unique. But their Unique is amazing. It's pretty close, obviously. But I heard you guys have that similar feeling. Yeah, I read both books, man. It's pretty close, man. Their Unique is fucking entertaining too, yeah. But come on, man. Is that really better than Epic Fantasy? No, it's not. I do think there are some fans who like their Unique better. Yeah, obviously. I guarantee you the romance book fans like their Unique better than Xenos because they have a bias towards the romance genre. And somebody tells me John Campea and Rob Burnett like their Unique better. Yeah, I read their Unique. I like it better than your Xenos book, Ivan. I think you're crazy, but I mean, I like it better. Yeah, because it doesn't feel as raw. Yeah, there's less stiffness in their Unique than there is Xenos, obviously. Xenos has more stiffness of dialogue, obviously. Ivan, why? Because it's easier to write dialogue. It's easier to have better flow in a modern time book than it is fantasy because in the modern time that's how we speak. So I can relate to the characters more. I can relate to the characters more. That's why it's easier with dialogue, obviously. Whereas Xenos is a fantasy world. You have to have old English style speech, so it's a bit tougher. Very full of dialogue, obviously, because they're all speaking old English style speech in most cases. But I also mix some modern English in Xenos too, obviously. I read both books. It's close, man. Like they're both. I'm hooked reading both books. With Xenos, I get more of that magical fantasy feel, obviously, when I read it. Sarah. But Xenos is. I read both books. I'm like, yeah, even though I love their unique, Xenos is a better read. Like, come on, man, it's epic fantasy. But there are quite a bit of fans who like their unique better, obviously, especially the romance fans and the woman, obviously. But I do think Rob Merriman and John Campbell like their unique better. Yeah, something tells me those guys like it better. Yeah, I like their unique better. I'm just more drawn to the modern times more than Zanus. I think you guys are crazy if you think their unique's better. But something tells me Jonathan Ray or no, Zanus is better than some. Yeah. What book do you think Luigi likes more? Probably their unique because she's a woman, right? Women are have a soft spot for romance. Or Vijay might like their Zanus better. I don't know. Yeah, I love both your books, but Zanus is the better read, Ivan. Zanus is a fucking masterpiece, Ivan. Yeah, it's an amazing story when you read it, right? Zanus. Yeah, we got a glimpse. Yeah, you did of Volume 3. There's no trace of human flesh in Saphius. No, I now sick. I said, yeah. Eretat, what is it? They kept asking him, Eretat, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I said, and what? There's no trace of human flesh in Saphius. No, I said, yeah, he goes into Eli's quarters, he takes all like the jugs, he's throwing everything down, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like my Lord Eretat, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's only one way out of here. It's the way we came. Eretat's like no servant, and he looks like west, just barely. He can see the mountains in the west. Obviously, he's like the mountains. They're my lord, but surely there's no passage through the mountains. Obviously, yeah. He's like those mountains are cursed. He's like the bats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. I even do the wolves know about the bats? They know a little bit, obviously, but then the newer generation are clues. But I don't want to spoil so you have to read the book to understand it. But Eretat knows about the bats, obviously. Yeah. And he said, yeah, those mountains are cursed. He's like, the bats go back generations on us and the humans, obviously. That's why I didn't show you the rest of the scenes. I won't spoil story for you. And that's all I'm showing for Volume 3, guys. I'm not showing you more. I won't spoil story for you. Zero. I'm not showing you more. I won't spoil story for you, Sam. You find me when you purchase my book. I won't spoil story for you. Yeah. Oh, man, it really pisses me off when you do that. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to spoil story for you guys, man. You guys are purchasing my book. I don't want to spoil story for you. There you go. Yeah. Oh, did you really read both books yesterday? Yeah, I did. Before I went to bed, I kept reading both books to see which book is better, and it's tough. It's a little bit tough because I'm like, yeah, Zanus is better, but when I read their unique, I'm very hooked too. I'm like, man, this is like a back and forth. But Zanus, I get more of that magical feeling. That's why I like it better, obviously. Their unique, I don't get that magical feeling because it's not a fantasy world, right? Well, they obviously are some of you guys who like their unique. Very, I like their unique better. I can relate to it more. Or they like both books just as much, right? Because they're both amazing books, obviously. Yeah. What I can do in this video, I can show you a bit towards the end of what I wrote down for the unique. That way you can read it again. That way you guys can can, can can make up your mind what book you like better so far. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the whole chapter one. I can show you maybe from the part when Louis interviews Don up to what I wrote down. You can reread it again. I can show you that in this video. That way you can read it. I read it yesterday. I was fucking hooked reading everything. I mean, this is sick. But Zanus, I was hooked reading it too. But Zanus arguably is a bit more raw than the unique, obviously. Zanus. I agree with this. Yeah. Get it, obviously. Yeah. That's why the gates wanted to sell. Yeah, they want to take advantage of my gifts. Me and VJ's gifts, obviously. Because me and VJ both have the gifts. They want to take advantage of our gifts and they want to control our money. That's why God gave me VJ the keys and he gave me VJ the gifts because he knew the gatekeepers. God obviously gave me the gifts because he knew the gatekeepers would lock the doors on me. So I have to give Ivan a gift, obviously. That way he can own something. Ivan can write. I didn't know I could write until I started writing Zanus. You know. Was your writing always this good? No, it wasn't. My first Islamic story I wrote was not even close to being as good as Zanus. It was not bad, but it wasn't that great. And I was telling a lot, focusing more on telling and info dumping, less on character perspective. Okay, this doesn't work. It's a bit boring. So when I wrote Zanus, I reversed it. Okay, less telling, more on character perspective, and it worked. Obviously, you know, for Zanus, right? And they're unique. Yeah, Ivan, in your stories, you focus more on the character's perspective, as I do, and that makes the story more entertaining. I know I'm doing less on. Yeah, you give vague descriptions. Yeah, I do. I do that purposely because I know what I'm doing, man. If you dump the reader with pages of information, you're gonna bore the reader if you do that, man. That's why I don't do that. Samsara. That's why I don't do that, man. I don't do it. But I told you, if you want to focus on character perspective and give vague descriptions, you have to have the gift to be able to tell a compelling story with through the character's perspective. Obviously, I have that gift. A lot of you guys don't have. You guys don't have that gift. So there's nothing wrong with info dummy, but don't do it for like 2, 3 pages. Do it for maybe 3/4 of a page and get to the point with the characters. Was I can take that risk and do that because I have the gift to do that. Obviously, so there's context, obviously, right? Whereby I keep the world building vague, but the world building still jumps out through the character's perspective, obviously. Samsara. Yeah. Our walls are nice and clean. Clean it nicely yesterday with bleach. They have to go to the Welfare Office. Yeah. I have to give them my record of employment for Dindy's again and write a note how much pages I work. Obviously. You don't want to work full time. No, no, no. I want to collect welfare that way. I can be focused. I know if I work, I'm gonna be sidetracked with their unique because I really do want to finish that book. Right, I want to write that romance novel. I'm like, yeah, I started writing it in college. I might as well finish it. Right, I might as well finish the book. Obviously, yeah. Samsara. Okay, so I'll show you guys what I wrote down for the unique from the part when Louis interviews Don. That way, you guys are more refreshed. Then once I finish chapter one, I'll show you maybe the part when Dawn's texting Cole and that she got the job. You can read that part till the end of chapter one. That's it, right? So I can refresh your minds, obviously. When you read it, you're gonna be hooked. Because when I read it, I was hooked. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like sometimes I underestimate their unique. I'm like, yeah, I read it, man. Oh my god, this is almost as good as Zayas, man. It's like a back and forth when you read it, kind of. But Zayas takes the edge from me because it's epic fantasy, obviously, and I'm more drawn to the magical, fantasy one, right? I'll show you right now for the unique, guys. Not the whole chapter one. I don't want you guys reading all that again. That's too long. I can show you the part when Louis interviews Don, and you guys can read it again from there, obviously. So I refresh your minds, right? When you read it, you're gonna be hooked. Because I was hooked when I read it. It's amazing, obviously. Yeah. Oh, I haven't showed Zanus. No, zero. I'm not showing you. I already showed you enough of Zanus. I don't want to spoil my masterpiece for you guys, right? I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Guys already read it, but I'm gonna show you it again. That way I refresh your mind. Yeah, I mean, it's better when we read like a lot, like read like a lot more scenes. It refreshes our mind. Yeah, it does. Instead of just showing you small little snippets, right? They're unique. How much page are you on? I'm pushing 12 pages. So 40 pages will be a good maybe 15, 16 pages on my computer. 17 pages are very unique. I'm on 7,000 words so far, right? Okay. Yeah, I can show you the part when Louis is about to interview her again. You can read that again. Hope you guys can see it well. And I'll keep scrolling down. Pause and read it. Or refresh your minds. You guys can be hooked when you read it, because when I read it, I was hooked and I was entertained, obviously. You're gifted, yes I am. The book is sick, obviously. That's why it is close. They're Unique and Zanus, it's very close, obviously. They're both very entertaining books. That's why there are some fans who probably do think They're Unique is better. If you like it better, I understand. They're Unique is amazing too, but I haven't finished the book yet, so I can read that. Keep reading. Keep reading. Pause and read that. Keep reading. And you can read that. And that's it, guys. And excuse the typos, guys. There might be a few typos here and there, right? Misspelling of words, that kind of stuff, yeah. And that's it. You read that, you're gonna be hooked too. Yeah, man, like They're Unique is amazing too. I know. It's kind of back and forth with both books. Yes, it is. Obviously. I'm sorry. Oh man, you're gifted. Yes, I am. Yeah, you keep saying Zanus is very. Yeah, like I keep saying Zanus is better. And it's better than it's clearly the better novel. Then I go back and I read They're Unique. I'm like, holy shit! Like I'm just as hooked reading They're Unique as I am Zanus. Obviously, and it's like, yeah, it kind of is a back and forth, but like, even though They're Unique is amazing, Zanus is epic fantasy. Obviously, I get more of that magical feeling when I read it. That's why Zanus takes the edge of me. And the big scenes in Zanus will blow your mind way more than They're Unique, obviously. I'm sorry. That's my point, obviously, right? Yeah, need a sec here. I can't position this well. Before, let me just put the camera like this, maybe a little bit like that. Yeah, it's better. It's the best I can do, guys. Charging my phone, that's you guys impressed when you read it? Yeah, Ivan, man, your book is sick. Man. Yeah, Ivan, it is kind of a back and forth. I know how you feel, man. Their Unique is amazing too. I'm hooked reading it. When I read both books, right? And there's less stiffness. Yeah, there is. There's less stiffness in their Unique than there is Zanis, obviously. Zanis has more stiff dialogue in their Unique. Because it's easier to relate to their Unique because that's how we talk in the modern times in real life. Whereas Zanis, it's a fantasy where they're speaking Old English style speech, so it's tougher, obviously, but to understand. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, based what I read off Zane's and their Unique, man, that's close, man. Yeah, no, they're both amazing books, obviously. Obviously. Will you write their Unique? Yeah, I mean, yes, I will. I will be writing their Unique today again. I'll show you guys my snippet of what I wrote down. I'm now nearing the ending of the scene with Don and Megan. I'm moving on with Josh, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. I really think John Campy and Robin. Somebody tells me John Campy and Robinette like their Unique better, but Ray or and Jonathan are like, nah, see, it's better, obviously. What book do you think most fans like better? Zanus. Because Zanus, you get more of that fantasy magical feel. But there obviously are some people out there who will say, no, I like their Unique better. I just love the whole modern time stuff with the romance. Yeah, it's tough, Ivan. They're both really good. Yeah, I know. They're both really amazing books, obviously. Yeah. It's like a back and forth, right? Even for me, it's kind of a back and forth. Like, I underestimate my Their Unique stories, and I go back and I read. I'm like, yeah, this is just as almost just as entertaining as Zayn is when I read it. Like, I'm hooked. I'm really, really hooked reading this. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? All right, man, you're an amazing author. Yes, I am. You know how to hook the reader. Yes, I do. I have the gift, man. It's a gift, that guys. Yeah. And that's why I'm gifted, obviously. That's why a lot of these book fans, when I release both books and I finish Their Unique, they're gonna ask me, Ivy, now you gonna write any more books? I'm like, no, guys. Ivy, you should be a full time author. I'm like, guys, you're crazy. You really think I'd be a full time author over being a movie star? Come on, man. I'd rather be a movie star than be a full time author. Yeah. All right, did you ever have that thought of writing the books based off your movies? Yes, I did. I did have that thought. Yeah, should I write a Great Escape book, a Western gangster book, and a hidden vampire book, and I have all my movies are based off Ivan's novels. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just writing the two books, Zanius, and if I finish there, I need two books, and that's it. I'm not writing any more books, obviously. But because I'm such an amazing author, a lot of fans are going to ask me, Ivan, you should write more books, man. You're a fucking amazing author. I know. That's not my dream. I'd rather be a famous movie star than be an author, honestly. I'm sorry. Writing books is fun, but it's a little boring. You just sit on your. But it's less work for me, though. Obviously. VJ would support me if I want people to mind. Yeah, if you don't want to be a movie star with me, I'll just do music and you can write your books. VJ will do music and I write my books. Yeah, I'll just sit in my yacht, sit in my nice house, When I go on vacation, I just bring my laptop with me and I just write. When I'm in the jet flying, I write the book, obviously, like 5 pages a day. In like 6, 7 months, I finish my book. It's more slack, but it's more boring, obviously. There you go. More slack, but a bit more boring. Some saying, huh? Oh, I'm saying, yeah. So why you never let a developmental error touch your story? No, it's not my ego. It's more about my passion for my art. I don't need help with story for my book. Obviously, the only thing I can need a little bit of help with is just like the stiffness of the dialogue. But like all the book editors who read my book will tell me, yeah, I mean your story is amazing. It doesn't really need much editing. You might have to polish up a few things here and there, as no book does not have flaws. Like your stiff writing, but like but I'm scared if you touch my story, the characters are no longer gonna jump on the page anymore. That's my fear. You know what I'm saying? They edit like 20% of my book. I read those sections and I'm like, whoa, slow your horses, man. How come the characters are not jumping on the page anymore that much? Oh, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I don't want these early people touching my early story. Don't make sense. Yeah. Some Sarah. The only thing I need help with is grammar, spelling, and punctuations. Yeah. Well, not spelling. I know how to spell the words, and you have the autofix on the computer. It's the grammar and the sentence structures that I need help with. That I'm not that great in. That I need a proofreader to edit that. But the story I don't need help with. I have the creative mind of God, the gift of God. I know how to tell a compelling, amazing story, obviously. In my books, I'm saying. Yeah. All right, man, you're gifted. Yes, I am, man. Yeah, I see what you're saying, man. It kind of is a back and forth where they're unique and Zanus, obviously. But there might be some haters out there who say, no, you know what I'm saying? Their unique is not that good. Zanus is clearly the superior novel. Well, when I read it, I did not get that feeling. I think they're both pretty tight, man. Because I was hooked reading Their Unique when I read it. And those who hate on my Their Unique book because, you know what I'm saying, because, you know what I'm saying, the saying it's not that good, they're probably just hating on me because they're jealous, obviously. Like when you read these other books, guys, are you hooked the way you are reading my romance novel and my fantasy novel? Yo, I've done something unique about your story. Yes, I read a bit of Pride and Prejudice yesterday. The book is amazing, and they use all these big words, but even it's not as entertaining as everything. Everything is more entertaining when I read it, obviously. All you guys who read the book Pride and Prejudice, right? The romance book. Yeah. Some Sarah. I have to clean the walls. Yeah. For money, right? You have money, I do, but like I have like just enough until like next Saturday, obviously. Yeah. You go back and forth sometimes with Zayas and Erenique. Yeah, I do, but when I read the powerful scenes in Zayas, I'm like, nah, like Erenique is amazing, but it's not Zayas. Zayas is more cinematic. It's epic fantasy. It's biblical level deep. You can't top that, obviously. Yeah, like it's very tough to top what I did for Zayas. But because I'm gifted, even if I write in a different genre, that book will be amazing. You're gonna be hooked too because I'm gifted, obviously. Sarah. Yeah. Pushing the end of chapter one, guys. So there is progress. I finally almost finished chapter one, guys. I have maybe 15 pages left in my notebook and I'm done chapter one. I'm going into chapter two, obviously. But chapter one might be 48, 50 pages on my notebook, guys. No, like maybe 40 pages, right? 42, 43 pages. So the two notebooks is not enough. I have to buy like another notebook once I run out of space, obviously, right on my notebook, obviously. So, Sarah. Yeah. You think there's some fantasy fans who might they need better? Yeah, they might. Some of you fantasy. Yeah, I, mean, I love the Zanes. I love the whole magic of it, but man, I'm kind of more drawn to their unique, man. I love their unique story. Yeah, some fans might like their unique better, obviously. But some fans will say I like their unique better. Zanes is a bit more raw. But those who say that are just hating on me because like Zanes is the greatest fantasy novel written, right? Yeah, I don't hate him, yeah. Ignore the haters, Ivan. They're just hating on you because they're jealous, obviously. Or envious, obviously. No author kept you hooked the way Ivan did, man. Because I have the heavenly gift. Don't hate him, so yeah. At least for Zanes. For their unique, I don't know yet. I didn't finish the book yet. But so far, what I've written down, I'm hooked reading it and I'm entertained. So I hope I'm doing my job, guys. If you guys are not impressed by anything, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best here. Don't hate him, so yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not a fair comparison. They're two different genres. That's my point. You can't really say a romance novel is better than a fantasy novel because they're two different genres. You get two different reading experiences. Yeah, even like they're two different reading experiences. Like Zane's, I get more of that magical fantasy feel, but like their unique is also amazing too. Like the modern times of romance. So it's like guys, some Sarah. Yeah. Do you always aim to entertain? Yeah, I'm the kind of guy when I write scenes, when I write my book, I want my book to be entertaining from the beginning of the story till the end consistently. That way, the reader gets their money's worth, and they have an entertainment ride of a lifetime. That's always my goal when I write. I want to entertain you from page one till the end of the book, obviously, and I have that gift to do that. Most of these authors don't have that gift, obviously. As there's not one novel where you're entertained from page one to the end of the book. No, no, no. All these amazing best-selling books have boring chapters. That's just the truth, right? All the best-selling fantasy novels, romance novels, they have boring chapters. There's not one boring chapter in Zanus, and so far for their unique, it's not boring. You're not. Am I boring you guys? That are unique, or are you entertained? No, I'm entertained. I'm not entertaining shit. Yes, it is. That's what the gatekeepers want you to sell at you because they want to take advantage of your gifts, UVG's gifts, and take advantage of your money. That's why they want you to sell because they want to guard the door on UVG's career. But I wrote saying is if I finish or unique, those two brands are mine, and the money's for me. Music, you're not touching my money. There you go. The money's for me, my wife. It's not for you, Sarah. Yeah, yeah, Sarah. Yeah, Yeah, Ivan, you know how to write scenes like that for a movie. Yeah, I do. That's why my stories are more plot driven because I want it to be commercial stories. Like, don't get me wrong, I develop my characters pretty well, but it's more my stories are more plot driven, obviously. Because plot driven stories is better for adaptations, obviously. That's why I purposely write like that because plot driven stories, those are the books that sell more copies over character driven stories. But it doesn't hurt to have pretty well developed characters, but have it be more. There's nothing wrong with having an amazing plot, but make sure you have pretty good characters, obviously. Obviously, right? As Very Unique is obviously plot driven, as you guys read. It's more plot driven story, and Xehanort is more plot driven too. When you read the book, obviously, it's more plot driven. Both are more plot driven stories. Yeah. I now second because there's no trace of human flesh in Saphius. I know there's no trace of human flesh in Saphius. You know what I'm saying the mountains. You know what I'm saying, but my lord Eratat, I'm paraphrasing. I'm saying there's no passage to the mountains. I'm saying where, how. You know what I'm saying, like there's only one way out of here. It's where we came. He's like, no, servant. He looks at the mountains. You know what I'm saying? And for fools like Eratat, surely there's no passage through the Gilead's Pass, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Eratat talks about the caverns. I don't know what's supposed to for you. He's like the bats. You know what I'm saying? He's like those mountains are cursed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when you read later on, Eratat says he's like we should go there. He's like no. He's like that is not my territory. He's like never linger there. Eratat knows the mountains is not his territory. That's Ephesus' territory. He's the king bat of that region, obviously. Are the bats and wolves friends? They're not the bestest of friends, but they're common enemies, the humans, obviously. But Eratat knows that's not his territory. Yeah, the mountain regions far west, they can barely see the mountains. That's not my territory. Eratat tells the wolves, I don't want to spoil stuff for you. That's why I didn't show you the rest of the scenes. I don't want to spoil stuff for you, some Sarah. Yeah. Okay, what I'll do is I'll show you a similar scene from Xehanort again. That way you guys are refreshed with Xehanort. I'm not going to show you a new scene from Xehanort. I won't spoil the story for you. And you guys will, that way you guys, okay, what read is better, right? And you guys will see what I mean. It's kind of like a back and forth when you read both passages. I'll show you the same scene I showed you before from Xehanort. I'm not showing you any new scenes, guys. I don't want to spoil the story for you. You guys can judge which book you like better, right? Yeah. It's tough though, but for me, Xehanort takes the cake because I get more of that fantasy feel, but it's tough though, man. They're both really good, obviously. But for me, Xehanort takes the cake, obviously. Because Xehanort is the better, you get more of that magical fantasy feel, but it's tough, man. They're both really, really good. But Xehanort is a bit more raw when I read it in some sections compared to Very Unique, obviously. Yeah. Let's go to Xehanort. Okay, what scene? I'll show you the scene with Cornelius, Mary, and Job. Obviously, when they're like, that perplexes me. And I'm saying, why would a northern come? I'll show you that scene. I'm not showing. I haven't shown us new scenes. No, I'm not showing you new scenes. I'm not supposed to surf you, man. Oh, sorry, I have to let it load. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you the scene again. You can read it. And it's tough, obviously, because they're both really good, right? Yeah, yeah. It's tough, obviously. I'll show you this scene. I'll show you the beginning of Lithia again when he's like, "You misjudged my horse." You know what I'm saying? You guys can judge which fantasy novel that Ivan wrote, which draws you in more. For me, Zanus draws me in more because it's what. Okay, you can read this scene again. You guys already read this scene. I'm not showing you new scenes. I won't spoil story for you. You can read this scene again. This is Zanus. You can read that again. This is that way I refresh your minds. You can read this here. Yeah, Ivan Zane's I get more of that magical feel. Yeah, that's why I like Zane's better. Because Zane's you get more of the magical feel, but it's close, man. They're both really good, obviously. Yeah. But there are some fans who might like their unique better, obviously, right? If you read that. And that's it. You can read that. And I'll show you the Lithia scene. The beginning of the chapter. I fixed the typo when he said Takis. I changed it to Colonias. I fixed that, obviously. Okay. You read the beginning of Lithia. This is not the beginning of. This is the beginning of Lithia, but there's a scene before that when Sirius talks to Papyr, Takis, and all that. I don't want to spoil story for you. This is the beginning of Lithia chapter. You can read that. I mean, it's close, man. I know how you feel, guys. It's a kind of a back and forth, but for me, Zane's takes the cake because I get more of that magical feel when you read it. Obviously, you can read that. Obviously, read that. Yeah, I mean, it's close. I know. I'm showing you both books. That way you get a comparison. Which one do you like better? But they're unique. I did not finish yet. So it's like, I mean, they're both really good. Yeah, they're both really good, obviously. Keep reading. Yeah, see this. I fixed. Papyri said Tactias, but I changed it to Colonias, obviously. Yeah, I fixed that. I'll typo, obviously. Yeah, you can keep reading. Obviously. This, I can change it to Colonius, right? But no, Papyri's whispering to Tactius here. So you don't have to change it to Colonius, obviously. But the other scene he was shouting, so I have to change it to Colonius. I made a typo there, right? Yeah. And you can read that part. And that's it. You guys can judge my two novels from there, obviously. Which novel do you like better, guys? Zanus is better, Ivan. Yeah, Zanus is has you have more magical, but their unique is amazing too, man. It's kind of back and forth, but I mean, So what novel are you guys more drawn into, guys? Oh, Ivan, that's tough, man. They're both amazing, man. You're an amazing author. Yes, I am. Both my books are sick, obviously. They're sick books, obviously, right? Yeah, Ivan, that's tough, man. I know. Both my books are amazing books. Yeah, they're amazing books. I'm saying they're amazing, obviously. Both my books are amazing. Yeah. So what I've shown both you guys, what novel do you like better? You like their unique better, or you're more drawn to Zanin? So what's better, Ivan? Oh, that's a back and forth. They're both really good, Ivan. Yeah. When I read both books, I'm hooked reading both books. But I'm more drawn to Zanin. To Zanin's, I get more of that magical experience because it's a fantasy world, obviously. That's what I'm saying. Zanin's is a fantasy world. Whereas their unique is not a fantasy world. You don't get that magical feeling in their unique, but their unique, it's very entertaining too because it's the modern times. But for me, Zanus takes the cake. Obviously. You know, Ivan, both your books are sick. I know both my books are sick, obviously. Some Sarah. But somebody tells me John Camper, Robert Burnett like their unique better. But Ray Orr and John, no. I like Zanus better. I'm saying that there's some fans who will say it's a back and forth. It just depends on what sections you read. There are some sections of their unique that are better than some sections of Zanus, obviously. But there's also sections of Zanus that are better than their unique. So it's like, but Zanus, when I read it, I get that magical feeling because it's a fantasy. I get that magical experience, that feeling. Whereas their unique, I don't get that magical experience, but it's fucking entertaining too, obviously, with the romance and everything. And Megan and Don, right? Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining shit too, I know. It's kind of back and forth, right? I'll call this video, which fantasy novel is better? You guys will see when you read both books, obviously. Yeah, if you guys read both books, what book stands out more when you read it? Obviously. Some fans will say Zayn, some fans will say they're unique, obviously. But ignore the haters, Ivan. Some Sarah. Anyways, this is here. I hope you guys will the shows. I'm signing off. Peace. All hands. Peace out, guys.